In this video, I'm going to show you how you can clean up information that's been sent to us for the OCC website in Word format. So what we're looking at here is a Word document for the 2019 football season. So we have our player of the year, etc. That part's pretty easy to just copy and paste over. But then when we get to the first team, second team, etc., what we have here, if I turn on my hidden symbols, is a bunch of tabs separating all this information. It's not actually in table format, and the web does not recognize tabs. So first I'm going to show you just a fairly simple way to clean it up for those of you who have never done anything with HTML. Then for those who have done some HTML work, have had my web class or done the videos, I'll show you a slightly more advanced way to make it copy over even better. So what we need to do, I've already done first team. What we're going for is a look like this. I'm going to use Word and Excel. I'm going for a nice clean look like this with separate columns, and then when I copy and paste this over, it actually looks a whole lot better. So what I'm going to do for second team, I'm going to highlight all the second team stuff, copy it, and then bring it over here and paste it in. So you can see that since it had the tabs in Word, Excel tries to guess and clean it up a little bit. It did a decent job. You can see that there are some mistakes here. So like right here, Lexington, if you're not all that familiar with Excel, if I select a cell and then I hold over it, it becomes like the crosshairs there. I can just drag the contents of the cell over. Same thing for Ashland. Looks like right here, Mansfield as well. Oops, I missed. Come on. Oh, that's all clear over here. That's why. So for some reason in this cell we have all of it in the first cell, so that's why it wasn't dragging over. It looked like it was in the other cell, but it wasn't. So I just copied it and pasted it over there. I'm going to cut that and move that over. And same thing right here, cut, paste, and cut, paste. Oops. Okay, so that's the first part of it. This part is also still pretty messed up, so I'm going to select this, drag it over, select this one, drag it back. And it looks like other than that, that one did pretty good. None of the junior senior stuff is messed up. So now that I have all of them lined up nicely, I'm going to drag this whole block over and line it up. So now we have our second team. So that's what I was going for. Now just a couple more things that I like to do to clean it up before I copy and paste it over. You'll notice in this one, instead of just having the abbreviations, I have junior senior. I don't really, it's just preference. Since we have a lot of room, let me go back to the actual site here. We have a lot of room to work with, so there's no reason to be abbreviating. So to clean that up, I use the replace function. So I'm going to highlight that whole column, come up here to where you see the binoculars. I'm going to go to replace. I'm going to type in, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and start with this. Mount Vernon is the other thing I like to fix as well, but come on, for some reason it's not highlighting. I guess we'll backspace. So I'm going to look for senior SR period and replace with senior, and then hit replace all. That found 14. Then same thing for juniors, replace JR with junior, replace all. And I don't know if we have any sophomores here. We don't, but if we had any sophomores, I'd replace those as well. But that takes care of all of them. Got an extra space right there. Then here, same thing. I'm going to look for all Mount Vernons. So I'm looking for MT and replacing it with Mount. Replace all. And there we go. So now I have a nice cleaned up table. I can copy all of this now, come over to the website. So this is now going to be second team, so I'm going to hit enter, type in second team, paste. It's going to come up, but it's going to recognize that it's some Microsoft stuff, so it's going to ask, do you want to clean it up? Say okay, that's fine. And there we go. So now it has that nice clean column look because it actually is columns instead of just being a bunch of tabs. Or some of the documents I found have actually had a bunch of spaces in there instead of tabs. Let me fix this as well. So for those of you who have not had any coding, web development experience, don't really know much about HTML, that's probably going to be all you really need to do. That's makes it look decent. For those who have had that experience, you can continue watching the video. I'll show you how you can clean this up even more. If we go into the source code and we look at the source code, even though it's in table format, it's adding all kinds of garbage in there from Microsoft. We can clean that up even more by doing this. So if I come back here, I'm going to go ahead and just copy all this to a new sheet so it's not on the same one. I'm going to start it right here. So what I'm going to do to clean it up even more is actually take, and I'll go put table row and then TD. So this is starting the first cell. Come on. Okay, and then I'm going to insert a column here. So this is going to now end that cell and start the next cell. So end TD, start TD. And then same thing, I'm going to insert a column here, end that cell, start a new cell. And then finally end the cell and end the row. So if you remember from creating tables, TR creates a row, and then each of the TDs created a new cell. So I can now take and copy all that down and use the fill handle to drag that down and that. So I'm actually putting in the code for the table. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy all of that, come back to the site, and I'll go ahead and just do it below this, and then I'll delete it so I don't have two tables. Instead of pasting it in from the what you see is what you get editor, I'm going to switch to the source, come down here to the bottom, wherever that's at, there it is. I'm going to add in my table tag, paste all that in my table, go back and view it, and there we go. I must have messed something up. Oops. Well, that's the general idea. I'll have to go back and look to see what I just did. I messed something up on that when I copy paste this. So TR, TD, NTD, TD, NTD. And it's all the schools that are missing. Yep, that would be it right there. I have NTD, NTD. So that didn't work out so well. Had I done it correctly, we would have a nice table in there. And then the advantage of doing it this way is that then we can add CSS to style the table and make it look even better rather than just going with the default here. But that's just for those of you who are a little bit more advanced and know the HTML and CSS. Make sure you do it correctly so you don't end up with this mess. Don't do two NTDs, but you get the idea. So that's it for this video. Hope that helps you as you copy some of this content over to the OCC site.